Hello, good evening. This is Chris Murray, your creative technologist. Welcome to the Creative Tech Hour, or at least Creative Tech 30 Minutes. We'll see how this is going to go. Well, this is the inaugural show of this podcast. So I would like to welcome you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sitting in. I am going to talk about a lot of things, and hopefully we're going to get some participation from some of our live listeners out there. So I am a creative technologist. I use a lot of different technology to get my day work, my day job. I use a lot of different technology to get that done. And I'm a specialist in a specific type of software, but I use so many other things. I thought that this would really be valuable to a lot of other people who are supplementing their work with all of these other tools, who are supporting their main work with all of these other tools. So I decided that it was probably a good idea to share just what I know about that, and maybe someone would really want to jump in and have a conversation about that. So when I think of the secret toolbox of the creative professionals, I think of a lot of different things that are part of my daily work that I didn't even think about. I don't even think about a lot of the times that I'm jumping into Photoshop, or maybe I'm jumping into these various productivity tools or my planning tools or all of these other different things that support work, right? It's a lot of different types of tools that we all use, and we don't even realize that we're experts in all of these secondary tools. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that, it's not that they're second tier tools. It's that they're all of these other little things that are basically widgets in our daily digital life that need to help us figure out or accomplish the tasks that we need to do. I'm trained as an animator. I know how to do 3D animation. I use a very complex 3D animation tool daily to accomplish my work. But I consider myself a creative technologist because of all of these other things that need to get done. So what are those things, right? So what are all those other different tools? What are the tools that you use? I use a lot of different tools, right? So, like I said, my main tool is a tool called 3ds Max. And if you do 3D animation, if you're into that sort of thing, or if you maybe use Maya or, any of the other packages that are out there, there's a lot of them, you become kind of a specialist in that thing. But I realized that I'm using all these different tools. Like, for example, we're creating content. At least I'm creating content with a lot of my digital tools. So I'm using things like 3ds Max. Like I said, there's other different types of 3D applications out there. All of these things create digital content. Of course, there's Photoshop and Illustrator, but there's a lot of other things that a lot of different people are using. Maybe you're using Sketchbook. I think Corel is still out there. I ran across another one called Serif Designer for a bunch of different things. So, those are some of the tools that I use to support the work of working in 3D. One of the things that I do is I create a lot of training videos and tutorials and things like that. And it was almost, like picking up a different pencil. I need to color in this shade today to learn how to do those things. And there's a lot of specific tools that help people generate these types of training and teaching tutorials. So things like Camtasia or Snagit, ScreenFlow, if you're on a Mac, maybe. ScreenFlow is one that is used on the Mac a lot. There's different types of other digital content creation tools. Things like nonlinear editors like After Effects or Premiere Pro or Final Cut, depending on what type of industry you're in. It could be Nuke. Hi, BMW 46 A-1, welcome. All right, we have a person who's joining. Let's go ahead and invite them in. Hey, Farhat, how are you? Hopefully I said your name correctly. Welcome to the hot seat on the Creative Tech Show. So hopefully he or she will join in. Don't have an image yet, but we'll let that sit out there for a second. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of different content creation tools, and we use all of these things, and we may have one specific tool that's our main thing, but we use a lot of different things to support our work, right? And as a creative visual artist, we don't maybe even realize what those things are. Are you having any luck joining, Fairhat? Well, let's see. We'll give them another second there. So, you know, After Effects, we're talking about Premiere Pro, these linear tools. There's a lot of other tools for creating content. Content doesn't necessarily need to be only visual. So some of the things that besides visual tools, there's lots of different audio tools like Audacity. Adobe has a bunch of different audio tools. Since I'm in more of a visual medium, audio isn't really one of my core creative strengths. I certainly do a lot of audio editing as part of my video editing process, but I'm not doing a lot of sequencing or things like that, creating original content. Welcome, one of my friends I think just joined. Is that Marion out there? I notice my friends over at Future Media TV who have encouraged me and lifted me up and brought me along into my own show. So I'm glad to see a friendly face out there. Oh, Russ, welcome, Russ. Glad you could be here. Russ, again, one of my new mentor in this world, in Blab and podcasting. Welcome to the show, Russ. I'm glad you're here. So we're just jumping in and talking about all of these different tools. I started the conversation by saying, I'm a creative visual artist. I do a lot of animation, and I use these very complicated or complex tools to do my core job. But I also realize that I use a lot of these other tools to basically support my work. There are tools that I don't even really realize I'm using, but are really core to what I do. And I realize a lot of other people probably use these other types of tools as well. Welcome, Mr. Wonderful. Glad you're here. Feel free to contribute either in the chat, or we have an open seat here. We're just getting this show rolling. So again, like I've said at the top of the show, this is the Creative Tech Show, and we're talking about what's in the secret toolbox of creative professionals. So we were talking about some audio tools. We had briefly covered some of the more what I would consider digital content creation tools like After Effects or Premiere Pro, some of the video editing things. But then I realized I also use a lot of productivity tools, things that support my work in ways that never make it to a pixel on the screen. And I'd love to hear from some people out there that are maybe using some tools that I might not mention. Of course, I don't know it all, right? I mean, that's the great thing about Blab and the internet and all of these things is, it's a huge exchange of information, and it's really amazing. So let's go ahead and join in. Mr. Wonderful is joining the show. E-boy.
Oops, hold on.
All right, no problem. I see you're using Cam Twist. That's great. Let's rejoin him back in here.
Yeah, I just actually there was someone told me there was a new release of Cam Twist today, 3.1. So I just downloaded that, and it seems to be working pretty well.
Great. I use many cams. So how's Cam Twist working for you?
Yeah, I love it. It has lots of the desktop share is really nice. That's really great that you could use that, so you can share anything on your desktop, any application, and you could isolate a window. And it has like a really nice thing. It's got a live mouse, so you could see people can follow your mouse as you go, which is very nice.
That's cool. Can you like draw on screen and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm mostly a video guy. My core programs are Photoshop and Illustrator. I love After Effects. I teach After Effects as well. But another tool that I've been using recently, which I don't know if people for 3D visualization, is something called Keyshot, which is a
Sure.
Yeah, I love that program. It's really incredible.
What is it that you really like about that?
Just that it works so well. I mean, you can take your models and you can plug in some materials and you can change the lighting and you can do the backgrounds, and it's got ambient occlusion, which is I love ambient occlusion,
Right?
And it's just beautiful, and it works really quick. It will suck up your memory like crazy, and your fans are going to go like, but
right.
Beautiful.
3D graphics tend to do that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I get spoiled on good hardware sometimes, and it's it's all of a sudden I don't have the heat on down here, and I live in the mountains, right? So if I don't have the heat on, it gets cold. But then I turn on all my machines and I'm doing rendering, and it's all nice and hot.
Yeah, but then again, I was back in the day. I was excited. We had an SGI, and I was like, "Oh wow, I have an SGI. I can play with it." And now you have these tools that are doing real-time visualization, which would have cost millions of dollars, like 10 years ago. And I have it, and it's incredible, and it's so fun to. The sad thing is that it's just you never have enough time to play with these things, but it's wonderful to play with.
Yeah, Moore's law. I mean, that informal, proclamation. What is it that computing capacity doubles every year, and as the price halves? Yeah, right. That's insane, isn't it?
It's the stuff that's come out. Well, because I teach After Effects, and I haven't used a lot of these tools in a while because I haven't done video in a while. But then I reintroduced myself to the camera tracker in After Effects, and it's just phenomenal. Right. It's incredible.
Yep.
Amazing. I mean, there again, that program would have cost, I think, Sync Eyes was one of the first real good camera trackers, and that was
Sync Eyes. Sync Eyes.
It was like $6,000, $20,000,
right?
And that was included in After Effects,
right? Yeah, and I think and there's another one so Sync Eyes now. I think last time I saw, and again, I don't quote me on this. I'm not selling it, but I think last time I saw Sync Eyes, it was like $600. And now you can, and Buju is out there. Buju's like 10 grand still.
Yeah, that was the program.
If you're doing high end film work, maybe that's right. But I mean, the camera tracker in After Effects is
phenomenal.
Is amazing.
Really
is amazing.
So. And they just introduced a new thing which I haven't tried, which is a character tracker. So that's incredible.
Yeah, I've seen that on there. We had a question in the room, I think, about CamTwist from Future Media Association. Russ over there. Is CamTwist Mac or PC?
I think it's just Mac.
Just Mac. Okay, right. Yeah, I'm mainly PC, so I've been working with Manycam, and I'm pretty happy. I've been pretty happy with that. So that's cool.
Yeah, CamTwist has a lot of features. It's basically like a little tiny video studio that you could do. It's incredible effects.
Right. Now, you said you're using KeyShot a little bit. Where are you getting your 3D content?
Well, I can create a lot of stuff in Illustrator, actually. So I use my vectors for type, and then I'll export it into Cinema 4D and extrude it and add bevels, and then I will export the OBJ or the FBX into KeyShot, and then you could do some nice visualizations and stuff like that. And any model, like OBJs or FBX, KeyShot is very versatile. It brings a lot of stuff.
Have you heard of a feature, or excuse me, not a feature, but a company called TurboSquid?
Yeah.
Where you can get 3D models from them of virtually anything.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They have tons of stuff, and then you can actually get a lot of free models too that people just put up.
Yeah, there. Sure. Google Warehouse. I don't think it's called Google Warehouse, but if you Google Warehouse, I think it's called something else, and it shows up. And there's a ton of free 3D models there that people can use for any number of different things, for sure.
But I got to say, CamTwist. I don't think the guy. I was surprised that he issued an update, because I thought that was kind of like in kaputs, because there's on the blog he hasn't mentioned anything about it since like for a few years, but for some reason they updated it for, I guess, for El Capitan. Right. But the nice thing is, because I when I do my projects, I do it live now, so I'm putting together a poster, so I might as well I kind of like talk about it, so you do two birds at one. You put on shown on Blab, you do the project,
sure.
And so with CamTwist, it's very nice to just isolate a photo, like isolate your Photoshop screen, and like I said, it's very nice with the mouse tracker.
Right, sure. Well, so you use After Effects. You're clearly doing some production there. What other pre-production tools do you use? You said you teach After Effects, so I assuming are you teaching the process of compositing as well? So, what other softwares or what other tools are you teaching your students to help them prepare to create stuff in After Effects?
Yeah, well, it's an introduction to After Effects class, but
Okay.
basically, just my core program is Illustrator. I mean, I love vectors, and you can really use vectors, for everything. You could do animation paths. Like I said, you could make vectors and turn it to 3D, and then obviously with type for Photoshop. But I love Illustrator as my core program, and then just basically Photoshop. But and there's a really great program if you want to do face motion. It's called escapes in my head. Crazy Talk. So have you heard of that?
I actually used to do some consulting for that company.
It's a great.
Yep.
It's a very simple program, but what it does is any photograph, and it puts a 3D mesh on your face, and then it takes an audio file and it does the lip syncing, and it's incredible.
Yeah. The company is called Reallusion,
right?
And they have Crazy Talk, and they also have a program called iClone, I think, which is kind of like a 3D authoring. It's not quite a game engine, but it's not quite a 3D content creation tool. It's a staging and storytelling tool, I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah, they have a lot of tools. The Crazy, that one is. I don't use that one because it's a little more involved. I just like doing the face because I make little funny cartoons, so it's a great time saver.
Right. And actually, I just realized you and I have met.
Oh, have we?
I think so.
On a black?
Your name is, I think so. Flying Squirrel mean anything to you?
Flying Squirrel. I have a cartoon called Planet of the Squirrels.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
Planet of the Squirrels. That's right.
Yes.
Well, John.
Right.
You know John from Crazy.
I do. Yeah, and you and I are on LinkedIn together. Hi, Eric. We met. Where did we meet? Small world, man. This is a small world. We met at who introduced us? Charles Chen.
Oh yeah,
from Reallusion introduced us at SIGGRAPH in San Diego, maybe.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I know Charles. He's the CEO of Reallusion.
Yeah, of Reallusion.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah. So, and I love your Brooklyn stuff.
Oh yeah, that's my mom, me, or cops.
Yep.
Barry.
Yep. Small world. Wow, man. That just came full circle.
That's funny.
So yeah. And when you and I met, that's when I was actually consulting with the guys at Reallusion. I was one of the so that's crazy small world.
I'm in Los Angeles now. I used to be in New York.
Oh, really? Okay, great. That's awesome. We've had a lot of people join the room since then. So hey, Ray, welcome. Sean Smith, welcome, my friends.
Well, it's great you do this, Chris. I mean, it's all. I mean, I love all things 3D and technology. So you should do this on a weekly basis.
Well, I plan to. This is actually show number 001.
Okay.
And I don't know if Russ is still in the room or not, but I think he is. And I met my friends over at Future Media TV. They do a show daily, just about future tech and all this other stuff.
Show. Yeah.
And it's a great show, and they really encourage me, and
awesome.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, so I need to give them a little shout out. You need to check out their show. It's 11:30 Eastern every day, so be sure to check it out. But yeah, I plan on doing this. I have a bunch of different show topics lined up. This one kind of steering back to the topic of this show, the secrets of of what's in the creative toolbox for professionals. We've been talking about some 3D stuff. Productivity tools. A lot of I use for planning, for shot planning, or just project planning. I use this software called a real-time board. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. Real-time board is a web-based whiteboard, basically, and in a classroom environment, it might be kind of interesting. So the way it works is it's like, do you remember a couple of years ago, there was this presentation package called Prezi, and it was kind of this vector-based virtual desktop, so you could zoom in and out, really get really tight on things. And instead of flipping from slide to slide with PowerPoint, it was kind of this infinite desktop. You could zoom in and out, and your presentations could be really dynamic. Yeah, Prezi is still out there. Yeah, and I do love it. I just don't have time to focus on it that much. Plus, where I'm at right now, they live in PowerPoint, which drives me crazy. But that's a different show. But Real-Time Board, check it out. Realtimeboard.com. Again, this is just a tool I use. I don't get any remuneration for that. But another one is Xmind or Xmanager. These are like node-based mind mapping software. I might have. Let me see if I can pop. I'm actually using Xmind to. Let me move my screens around a little bit here.
Did you go to SIGGRAPH this year?
I did. Yeah, I go to SIGGRAPH almost every year. So I'm showing my desktop here. This is Xmind, and so these are my show notes and my plans here. So Xmind is this this is called a mind map. So like I can drag topics around. It's like an outline that I can see all at once with that kind of stuff. So, I left hopefully my lower third was on there. But so those are the types of productivity tools. Is there anybody else in the room that's using a productivity tool that really makes a difference in their job or in their creative life? Let's see. Nice change. Okay, so we have some good. I'm glad to hear some conversations going on in there.
Can I mention one more tool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if anyone is interested in app creation and can shudders at the concept of coding, there's this really great program called pencilcase.io, and what it is a visual coding app. And it uses kind of like if-then statements. So it's sort of like it has a little timeline. And so you could put shapes. And for example, like you interactivity. So when you hit the shape, it starts the timeline. So if you touch the shape, then start timeline. So that's sort of how it works. It's really incredible. And then it's you can make your app and you can export it to Xcode, and then the Xcode project goes right to the App Store, and it's incredible.
Really?
Yeah, it's really
pencilcase.io.
Pencilcase.io, yeah.
All right, I'm going to definitely check that out.
It's amazing.
Yep, there's lots of new web-based, cloud-based tools that are ending in .io. There's frame.io, and there's a 3D tool out there. I'm totally blanking on the name of it for a minute, but pencil case. Hang on, I'm adding that to my never-ending list.
It's still a version 1, and it has some issues, but I already submitted an app and it got it up there, and it was a pleasure to use, and I want more features, so I'm yapping at them like, come on.
You bring up an interesting point. Everything these days is like a .10, right? And everybody, like Blab's a good example of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but they've taken the word beta. Or I guess it does still say beta up there.
It was down for a little bit. We're all guinea pigs.
Right. But you said something that's interesting, is that we're flexible. We're willing to try new tools if the expectations are not necessarily set super high, right?
Software is always evolving, so you have to be forgiving. I mean, like Maya, remember back in the day, it's like, it crashed again, but you keep going back. It's like an abusive girlfriend, like, she's a beautiful girl, like she's beautiful, but she hates me, but I keep going back.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That was my experience with Maya.
Right. Well, no, I find that particularly funny.
Sadly,
because of my day job, but that's really funny. But a lot of these software companies are moving to this agile software development. Things are moving a lot quicker. You're getting a lot of features on various timelines that don't necessarily sync up. That's an interesting. It's a conundrum for a lot of bigger companies that are stuck in these huge pipelines. But these little guys like you and me. No offense to that. I mean, I'm not suggesting that that's a bad thing, but we're able to be flexible, right? Flexibility is is key to survival a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, like the problem with I was trying to learn it, and it was basically, I'm a Mac guy, so it's like, oh, learn PC, and then it finally did come to the Mac, but it was, I guess the code was not really optimized for the Mac, and it had a lot of issues, and you just had to like suck it up, and like, because you had it, but it didn't work. Like, oh, I have it, but and then years went on, and like, and they're not going to rewrite the whole code. I mean, it would take years.
Right.
Finally, I switched to Cinema 4D, which was a lot more flexible and rebuilt, and it was cleaner and it worked a lot better. But the tools, you got to use the tools that are available. And like this program is the pencil case. It does have a lot of issues, but it gets the job done because I can't code, so I have to suck it up, and at least I can get stuff done. So
right. We had a couple questions in the chat here. Sean Smith, CR, first one. Nice changeover. How are you doing that? Did you mean my switch over to the desktop, Sean? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm using a software called Minicam, and Minicam is a video switching software. And Mr. Wonderful over here is using CamTwist. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it's just a software. Actually, if you follow my Twitter feed there, look in my Twitter feed. I just did a video. I should have had the link ready to go here. The shame on me for that. Of a basically what Minicam is all about. If you give me just 1 second, I'll go get it here and I'll put it in the link.
Chris, I'm going to drop out, but it was certainly great to see you again.
Eric, thanks. Really happy that you were here. Feel free to stop by anytime. I'm probably going to do this. I'm going to try the Thursdays at 10 to see how that works, but glad you're here. Thanks, man. So, all right, let me see if I can find, let's see. Trolling through my feed here. I should have had that ready to go. But if you go to my Twitter feed in there is a link for on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is YouTube a 3ds Max trainer. Or, no, that's not where I put it. Let me just go get it. That's crazy. But again, so Sean, you also said my frustration is a need. For an app developer to achieve what I need. So yeah, I mean, we all have pain points, right? I mean, we have all kinds of different pain points, and the ones that the app developers that can respond to that are the ones quickly. They're going to be a lot more successful, right? Yeah, my brain is creative. My coding isn't. I'm not a coder, and I live. I'm a 3D guy, and I live in a world that is rife with people that are coding. And I've been able to survive with some help and good friends and asking for help on that kind of thing. All right, so here I finally got this link up. Let me go ahead and copy it, and I will just paste it in the chat here. So if you're thinking about Minicam, this one is about Minicam, but if you're thinking about using CamTwist or something like that, you can check out that video. And I just explained a little bit about what a camera switcher software is, and I also explained about how to actually implement Minicam into your environment. It's probably something similar with CamTwist, but feel free to check it out. Yeah, collaboration is key for sure. Whenever you're working, it's we work in such a remote place. I think Blab is a good example of us getting connected with each other. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Excellent. No, I've been looking for this type of thing because the work that I do now, which is really kind of focusing on getting kids and parents and teachers educated on the use of social media. So I really want to have this type of environment where I can share with them with a larger audience, but at the same time being able to do that little bit of screen sharing so that I can show people exactly what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about an application like EchoSec out of Victoria, which has built a really great tool for being able to find social conversations on a global map. Right. I want to be able to show that, and I can't really do it with that.
So what type of environment are you in there where you want to share? And welcome, Derek. How are you doing, Derek?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me guys in there. I'm just interested in what everyone's talking about. Sean can go ahead and finish.
Yeah. So what type of? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a. Sure. I'm creative in the old sense that version 1.0, get the pen out on the paper and throw together caricatures and cartoons. My world is mostly social media coaching and helping businesses understand the use of social media as an effective marketing / but on the creative mind that I have, I've got an app that I want to develop that is really designed at helping address an issue with privacy insofar as being able to edit images in a specific way. I'm not a coder. I used to code HTML back in the day, but that was a long time ago. So I can rant in HTML, but
I can still use the command prompt. So Derek, what are you up to these days? What's going on?
Not much. Just to go what Sean was saying, and what I commented in the chat part. Collaboration is key. There are everyone's got a strength and a weakness, and I think also tech, but I think the Blab is helping us connect those two people and those two parties together. Developing an app is going to be a strong point for someone. I actually know a couple of people that that's their thing. That's their expertise, if you want to say. And where you might have your strong points, and as you said, the social marketing. This person might not have. So if it's an exchange of ideas and tips to help each other out, if it's a full-fledged you working with that guy to build the app, and then you give him some type of payment, whatever two people can figure out. But like I said, it's collaboration is really key, at least from where I come from. Graphic designer, I have a small niche that I work with, and a lot of things you have to be okay with first putting it out there that you're not an expert on everything. They think that's the first step. I know so many people. I was in a social media deal this morning. Yes, if I was an app guy, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to work with this guy. He's I feel what he's saying, but I was in a social media thing this morning on Blab, and I was told that the way I was thinking wasn't the right way, and I don't feel like there's a right or a wrong way, but I really feel like we should all be connecting and helping out, and you're going to suggest a friend over someone who you have no idea who it is. If I know someone that needs 3D work, then, I would tell him, hey, I talked to Chris on Blab and he seems like a good guy, and, I'm going to point people in directions. And like I said, I personally feel that that's where we should be as a society, not to say that, there are people not making or, making their money doing their, their social media stuff. And, but I just feel like it's connection more than anything else.
Yeah,
Well, I agree. This is one of the things that I've really enjoyed about Blab is I'm considering myself a bit of a drive-by blabber, so I'm bringing to a lot of conversations that have happened over the last few months. But the ability to connect with people and have this face-to-face kind of real conversation that isn't planned. I haven't come across a Blab
yet.
I know.
We're supposed to be talking about what's in the secret toolbox. We should be changing this title on the fly, right?
Already, but I mean, this is my secret toolbox. I mean, for want of a better tool, I mean, if you're in the social sphere as I am, this is probably one of the best tools I've had in my toolbox in a long time for being able to connect and network and share ideas and collaborate on concepts. And then discovering new apps like Pencilcase.io and the Minicam, which now I can figure out how to use and integrate into our larger plan for some of the stuff that we've got coming up next month.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Derek, I have a question
this is it. This is the tool.
You're totally right. The collaboration is the key. Do you collaborate mainly remotely with other teams? Are you collaborating in the same room with a bunch of people? And if you're doing remote stuff, what tools are you using to support that collaboration?
I don't do much collaborating. Not that I'm opposed to it, obviously, by the reply in the chat. It so happens that my small little design company, and what we do, it's really to generalize it, I do event flyers for companies in a very small niche of pro wrestling. So I basically just get the who's, what's, and where's of the event, and then I've gained enough trust so that the companies are just like, go do your thing, opposed to being micromanaged, which I love as a creative. Like, if you can just give me a project and be like, hey, I need it by Sunday, and I'll have it to you by Saturday night. I'm a classic overachiever. But I can work at my own pace, and I can be as creative as I want to be with the project. To some extent, I have some clients that are like, it's got to be blue, and it's got to have the text here, and it's got to have this, and it's got to have that. And on those points, it's not so much of a working collaboration, but it's more of a
execution.
Yeah, it's more of an execution. It's like they don't know how to work the programs, but they want it in certain spots. And I said, some clients are just like, we're hiring you for your creative, do your thing. So I do have a couple of international clients. I have 2 in Australia and 1 in the UK. So there's a lot of Skyping. It used to be Google Plus, on-air hangouts and stuff like that. Trying to get more people to come to Blab. This seems like it's a lot easier to use. You do have to link it up to Twitter, but there's not an app. I mean, not an app, but a download for this, and you have to download all the stuff for Google to get that working. It's easier.
Exactly.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Have you tried appear.in? I use that for some. I'll put the URL in here. I use it to do coaching with
appear.in. And while you're typing that in, appear.in. Okay, cool. And let me just throw this out to the room, because we've had several other people that have joined in. I'd love to hear people in the that are listening. Feel free. We have an open seat, or if you want to just type it in the chat, what tools you're using to collaborate remotely. If you're working with people that aren't sitting next to you, one of the things that we're talking about is, what's in the secret toolbox for creative professionals. And as I said at the top of the show, I have a core tool that I've been using for 20 years. And then all of a sudden I realize I have basically this pyramid of other supporting software that I use to accomplish what I need to do on a daily basis. Some of it's productivity tools in the cloud, some of it's hardware, some of it's, education and sharing tools or mobile tools. So, I'd love to hear from the room, or any, you guys, whatever, if what other collaboration or productivity tools are you using out there to support your work, whether it's cloud-based or whether it's installed.
To go more on that, along those lines, to stick with topic, Dropbox, I definitely use that for file sharing, especially with the graphic work. Some of it can be really too big for emails. So that's one thing. And I find like I was, going back on the other topic, like Skype's been so it's so established, and it's been around for so long that, especially like my international clients, if it's not Skype, it's something foreign to them. So it's it's got to, like I said, I'm gonna take a look at this link you sent me, but I know they're gonna be the sticklers that they are and be like, well, we use Skype and that's it. So I think.
Well, that's fine. Actually, you make a good point, because I'm in that situation too. I have people that I work with that it's like we run through the litany, the shopping list of desktop sharing. Oh, this isn't working. Let's jump over to this. Oh, this isn't working. Let's jump on Skype, right? And Sean, you may want to consider Skype, because Skype actually is pretty solid in terms of its desktop sharing and things like that. Yeah.
I use Skype a lot. The one that the reason that I kind of start to use appear.in is there's no software to load. It's completely web-oriented, web-based.
Right.
You simply invite somebody into a session and they follow the link. And I'm not looking for something that's overly secure, because I'm not talking about anything that's proprietary. It doesn't share the same way that Blab does. You actually have to invite people in. But it's the simplicity of it. And there's no application to load. There's no account to configure. There's no
and
settings.
That's kind of real-time board. When I was talking about real-time board earlier, I use that. I can work remotely, or I can share it with a group, and it's literally a live whiteboard on your screen. Adventurous says Appear.in is good for brainstorming, plus people can be invited and not go through Twitter. Yep, that's great. I'll have to check that out. I don't Appear.in. So that you'd put that under productivity tools, is that right? Or cloud-based tools?
Yeah. It's definitely a client-based productivity type tool because it allows me to interact with clients wherever. I mean, we need an internet connection, and that's about it. And that way I can actually just have this type of a conversation with them. There's nothing planned. It's just, okay, I need to talk to you right now. Let's talk. And we get the job done. There's even a screen sharing feature in it, cool. So that you can actually share screen right in the app, or right in the web. So it's super handy, but it's based solely on price, I mean free, and simplicity. So the value for me and for my clients is huge. Now I've been taking a look at apps like Zoom, but for a larger context and something that I pay for that has a lot more features attached to it, but it also has a certain aspect of security depending on the levels of purchase. But for when I'm dealing with somebody who is very new, whether it's talking about an app, whether it's talking about concepts, whether it's talking about marketing, and they're all very new, they're just a half a step above troglodyte.
Right. Okay.
I mean, and then staying on topic with what's in the toolbox. As creatives, Apple products, the cloud, Adobe's, subscribe service. You can do a lot of that. I've worked with a couple of times where I've had a project live on my screen, shared it with somebody, he worked on it, and we've gone back and forth in that aspect. I don't, like I said, I don't get to collaborate all that much, but there were certain things that he wanted to try, and you can literally, move it over, drop it in, and it shows up on his box, and you can do it that way. So the Adobe stuff, the cloud, and that cloud sharing service has been great for me.
All right. You know what I started to use in the Adobe CC stuff is I forget actually what the feature is called, but I can save like color palettes and various setups in I think it's called Adobe Sync, and it sits right in Photoshop or it sits right in Illustrator. And so I have, if I'm working with a branding board or a piece of a client work where it's a specific palette that I always need to be going back to, I can have that palette appear on this machine or on the machine behind me or on my laptop, wherever I'm working, and it's always the same. It's kind of like Dropbox in Adobe products with some of the key elements that you reuse, like fonts and stuff like that. So
and they've really started, as we've gotten into more collaboration and stuff, like Adobe's really starting to open up that whole, like, if you've got one product and you've got one membership, you can share it with like every other product. I've dabbled in After Effects for a bit, especially now that I have a better computer system. I got a gaming rig so that I could go back to doing some After Effects work, and to be able to share that with other people is definitely a lot better than trying to Dropbox it. We're trying to find you get the file sizes that we get to mess with, so trying to put that into Dropbox and then linking and sharing and all that crap, it gets to be a bit of a nuisance, at least for me. So
the damn internet is slow.
Oh, I mean, you're like
right.
You're dealing
that's
for something,
file
for sure. Adventurous says,
big.
have we tried Garfio? I have never heard that at all, and I would love to know about that. Do you want to jump in to the open seat, Adventurous?
That sounds interesting.
Let us know, or maybe you're not if you don't have a camera, but if you could do a link or something, that is a really interesting name. I have not heard about that, but Dropbox. I really love Dropbox. When I'm working with animation files, so to the point of some stuff is really, really big. Then I'll pop over to FileZilla and I'll just FTP it somewhere that it needs to go. Or if I'm not in a hurry, I might use WeTransfer or one of these other email web-based, something that'll transfer a big file. Yeah. But otherwise, if I'm collaborating, the good news is that I got a lot of people that are in different time zones, so they're not always working at the same time as me. welcoming Mr. Mark Hafner. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Great. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm in all of these kind of apps you guys are in. I'm kind of a multimedia everything. I have a music production background for television.
Great.
For television film. I actually have an Emmy for that, and
sweet.
Wrote the musical theme for the Magical World of Disney and the Disney Channel. Some other fun stuff.
Nice.
But I'm into podcasting now, and I'm into program development and collaboration remotely, and the stuff that you guys are talking about. And I'm interested in a question that is something that I'm kind of looking into myself right now. One of the things Derek said earlier about how we should all help each other is what I'm really excited about in this space, to collaborate. And one of the things that is, I think, the root of this for me when I stepped into podcasting. Podcasting is a group of people who do it for nothing. They do it for the reason that they love doing what they love. And when I think about becoming a media professional, which is what I do for a living, I ask myself, why did I get into this? Why am I doing this? Why did I become this media person in the first place? And we all find ways to make money, but then, I'm 50 years old this year, and now I'm looking at making those real meaningful things that I always wanted. So when I look at everybody here, and I look at the podcasting space, I think, what if we had a way to all jump into something we were really passionate about to create, like contribute, each of our, because I can't do everything and nobody can do everything. We're all working together. Mm-hmm. And then we share in some sort of revenue of a much, much better product than we could ever create by ourselves. And it is owned by us and not some NBC or Paramount or Atlantic Records or
sure.
Because my thing is that I have so many people that are creative, but then they end up having their media owned by other big media companies, and there's and then they make money on it, or maybe they do or they don't, but a lot of times they lose control of it, and that's usually where the artist gets kind of burned. They get kind of upset because they don't want it. So anyway,
seems to me that you want to be the next Charlie Chaplin.
Well, I mean, I really do want to be somebody who is pioneering the podcasting space and programming, because I see. I used to work with television syndication companies like King World. They distribute Oprah and Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is done with syndication to TV stations one at a time. So the mentality of what I was doing for many years is television show packaging and promotion and marketing for syndicated programming. Podcasting looks like the same thing to me.
Right.
It just looks like a much better group and people who are doing it for the reasons that I would want to do it. So
right. Exactly.
Let's go do it.
Right.
There really is the opportunity to create that kind of creative co-op, especially when you're dealing with stuff like with Blab and these planned but very fluid conversations where
I was Russ that brought me in here, by the way. I know Russ from Podcast Movement, and he's friends
great.
With my business partner Jamie J.
Right.
Jamie and Jay and I are business partners, and so anyway, hey Russ, thanks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm definitely a person who's into trying something new with just about anybody on any level. I mean, if I can bring my background and my skill sets to a group,
and somebody like me who's
those skill sets already,
you work all
I'm
your
in.
life to tool up your skill. Whatever you do. I'm an audio guy, and I also am video and I'm a creative director kind of person. But but the thing is that after a while, you're good at what you do.
Right.
But then what matters is the message. And if you're working for a living,
I never
whatever the message of the client.
I planned on it, but never got it.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Right. We have the T-shirt. We evolve. No, it's an interesting space because everybody tries to find a way to monetize everything, and they haven't quite figured out that there's a point where everything has to start, and it's not about making the money. It's about creating
that will
help you achieve that goal down the line.
All of us doing this because nobody's paying us to be here, because we showed up here because we love what we're doing, and we want to reach out to other people like ourselves, and really, hopefully one day, I'll tell you something that I read in Business Insider recently that kind of like strikes the real chord for me. Is the co-founder of Twitter started a new company in May called Obvious Ventures.
Yeah.
Okay. He raised $123456789 million, $123 million, and it's a venture capital fund to help fund world positive companies. So this isn't a charity. It's not. This isn't nonprofit. This is a initiative for business that is realizing that because we're all here in this room, and we're not here because some brand is here. We're here because each other are people, and this is going to continue. It's not going to stop.
Right.
Man, I am excited about people, in this new era. Chris and Sean, I'd much rather know you guys. And Derek, you've had some incredible things to say. That's not a big giant brand name,
Right.
Love it.
How do you wrap that up? How do you, the collaboration? I think the tools, you're talking about the toolboxes, right? I think there's lots of tools in the toolboxes, and I think there's a lot of things that we can do. How do you point the noses in the right direction? How do you say, you know what, this is worth your time, this is worth your talent and treasure?
It's not a point, it's a pull.
Sure. Okay.
It's a pull because for all of us who ever was in media, we were working in some sort of broadcast that's sending a single direction signal. It just keeps going in that direction, never comes back the other way. So that everybody trained in those fields of television and filmmaking and radio they don't know how to think bidirectionally, So now what we have to do, hopefully people like me, who have a passion for this, who have some media skills, and I can hopefully drag more, entertainment industry and music industry, people who have been in this business that have so much experience, but are pissed about what's going on. They want to bring, the real deal together, is that, I want to say, it sounds corny, but it's kind of like the love of it all. You're not pointing people in any direction. You're not pointing anything. You're saying, hey, I love this. If you love this too, let's go hang out.
Right.
And I mean, man, I'll be there. If you're the guy saying that, and I love what you love, I'm gonna be there.
Yep. Birds of a feather, right?
Yep. And it's not gonna change.
Right.
It's not gonna change.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I stepped away from doing consulting and went into coaching instead. I think the best line I heard this past week on one of the blabs was, consultants create clones, but coaches bring out the best in others. And that's the whole purpose behind what I do.
I know.
I love,
and then we can do that here in Blab. It's so cool.
And then
hang around
and see just how
I have one of the things I think that
a
common thread that I'm finding on virtually everybody that I've interacted with in a non-commercial way on here is everybody has a lifelong relationship with learning, right? And I'm on here not because I know it all, but because I got my notepad out and I'm like, oh wait, I just learned this one. Let me write this one down, right?
But what's different? You know what's different now, Chris, is the learning that we were all doing all before is changing. Because what's happening is that here you show up and I show up, and I don't know everything, but I'm just giving you everything I've got. I'm bringing you myself to the table, and I'm trying to be as clear as I can to say, hey, this is what I do. And that's, and then from there, I'm not going to step on anybody else. And in the best of professional teams, that's what everybody does. They go, you know what, Derek, you're awesome at this thing. And man, you're the man on that. I don't do that. And saying likewise, Chris and Sean, and we all kind of get together and we give each other what I would call jurisdiction sometimes. And that means that we respect each other in a certain way. I mean, even if we actually both I know a music composer who's also a film editor, which is very rare. It's very rare for that to happen. And he does actually have, I think he has Academy Awards for both jobs. He worked on The Usual Suspects, and but he's editing the film and doing the music composing. That's crazy. But he doesn't do that on every film. In some films he's editing, and in other films he's scoring. And you can't be stepping on that other person's toes. You have to go,
right.
I'm not editing this film. It's your project. You're the man.
Right.
And so anyway, I was just saying, in the world of what I've learned in podcasting, and I'm not a lifer podcaster, you know, I'm a person who actually saw this coming before YouTube. I actually had a company I was developing called PCTV back in like 2002, and we didn't beat YouTube, and you know, we didn't get anywhere, but we saw this stuff, and so. Now that everything's happening, to me, podcasting, I mean, it's not the only, Blab is incredible. There's other technologies, but podcasting is a syndicated program system to me.
Right.
I love it. I love that. I mean, to me, I want to encourage people to make their own programs and get their own knowledge out there. I mean, this is great, but.
Yeah. You know, one of the best pieces of advice I heard about that type of thing is that, you know, and we're in the last 5 minutes of this show. We're going to we'll hang out after this. We're not going away, but I will stop the recording.
And I have one productivity tool.
All right, great. I'll get to that. Yeah, I want to hear that for sure. But one of the things I had heard was to your point, Mark, was don't deny the world your voice. Right. So, you know, I was looking, you know, because today this show, Creative Tech Show, is show 001. Right. This is the first one. And Russ has, you know, been my enabler and my coach, and
I'm honored to be here, Chris. That's a fantastic.
Right? And thanks, guys. Yeah, right. Thanks. And I was trolling through all of the you know, scheduled shows for today, and there's like tech this and tech that, and I'm like, oh, you know, gosh, everybody's going to talk about everything that I'm going to talk about, but you know, to your point, Mark, it's like this is what I got. Right, I'm gonna bring it,
and you yourself, Chris, because I'm just saying forget the topic itself, just the you part is the
right. Thank you, and I received that with gratitude.
Thank you, because I can't get that outside of a recording or a blab. If you just wrote all this knowledge down that you have, I wouldn't feel the same about you. That I
mean,
right.
And at the same point, we could each one of us.
No, I agree. This is the thing I think I love the most about this whole platform is the fact that it's about as real as you can get. There's, you know, I mean, I've got my kid in the back. I'm sitting here, you know, t-shirt, unshaven. This is me.
Right.
This is an iPad.
There's no makeup. There's no hair done.
Right on.
There's almost no hair.
Right on.
Yeah. It's being able to I'm always teaching that the best part of social media is the social, and the social requires you to be genuine.
Almost 3 decades of
much more genuine than
video that me, everybody, now that we're all media producers, can start to appeal the emotional things that we emanate from, you know, the things that we, you know, that represent our zone of who we like to be, you know, and ultimately I would encourage everybody to start thinking about music. I'm a music guy, and at some point music really does start to change your brainwaves.
Dude, in animation, music is half the
upstairs to bed.
All right,
guys, thanks
Sean,
for
keep in touch, brother.
Thanks for hanging out, Sean. I appreciate
follow on
it.
Twitter or something. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So, Mark, what was your productivity tool?
I'm an audio guy.
We'll end the show with your tool.
I thank you. Since I'm an audio guy, I found Radiocast. Are you familiar with that? It's a PC. It's a
no, not at all. Hold on, I'm getting out my notebook here. What is it?
It's like radio with an L.
Okay.
Cast, C-A-S-T, Radiocast. It's in the App Store for Macintosh.
Okay.
It is used in conjunction with Soundflower.
Okay.
So Soundflower is also free. I don't think Soundflower is in the App Store. I think you have to get it off the site. But you get Soundflower and you get Radiocast. And I don't even think I configured anything with Soundflower. I didn't touch it. I just installed it and left it alone. Then you use Radiocast to it has, I wish I had my other computer running, I could show it to you, but it has 3 input audios on the left and 3 output audios on the right.
Okay.
Now, you can send any audio input to any of the 3 outputs or all 3 at once, and likewise with 2 and 3, so you can connect the output of your Mac to run into, say, a stream.
Sweet.
Or you can, I use it with iTunes, and I'll play I have a bunch of music I've written, and I want to play it for people, but it's hard to stream it into, let's say, Blab.
Sure.
So I can use Radiocast on a Mac, and then I just run my iTunes. Well, actually, I just run my output of my Mac. Instead of running it through my speakers, I run it through a Soundflower, and then I just pick up Soundflower at the Radiocast input, and then I send that through actually another Soundflower bus. There's only 2 that gets installed, so I just use the 2 that are there.
Right.
And then the second one I just use as an output, and I send, let's say, Soundflower 2 channel to, the Blab or whatever, and
awesome.
And it's our Skype or whatever, and I can be on a call or a Skype chat, and I can say, hey, have you seen this video or have you heard this song? And we can go searching and surfing online, and I can say, hey, check this out. And we can both listen and watch. It's really nice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's cool. Well, we're going to hang out. I'm not going anywhere. We had some good conversation going here, but I am going to stop the recording. So I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. I'm Chris Murray. Thanks to Derek and Mark for being part of show 001, which is the Creative Tech Show, a show that we're going to do every Thursday at 10, at least initially for now, while we grow our audience. Tonight's show was what's in the secret toolbox of creative professionals. I have a whole list of other shows that we're going to drill down a little bit deeper in all these topics, but feel free to hang around for the after show. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. I want to thank everybody for stopping by.